Hey mama, do you feel like you're juggling all the balls and you're about to drop one at any moment? Maybe you're working from home and with this quarantine you are, mixing all of the hats that you wear into under one roof at the same time. This episode is for you. In today's episode, we talk with Siv Priscilla, and she's a mama and she's an entrepreneur and she works from home and she's doing all the things. And today we work with her on how to figure out how to stop procrastination, especially as a dominant enneagram 8 wing 7 like myself. If you are procrastinating, if you are lacking the focus to get the things that are on that to-do list, or better yet, that results list done, this is the episode for you. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of My Mother's Daughter. Today we have a real treat for you. We are actually going to be talking to someone who I'm pretty sure is my twin. No, she is definitely multi-passionate like me, and she has a very strong need for focus when it comes to the energy. So I actually have made that my word for this year, the word where you're trying to for the whole year, I want to focus on a word, and I picked focus. So I definitely think we have so many similarities. Today we're talking with Siv Priscilla, and she's actually in Norway. And so what time is it there now?
It's 4 p.m.
Yeah, and she stays up really late. So she is a night owl. So we connect a lot on Facebook, and I think that's awesome. But anyway, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about some of the really the overarching thing that you want to accomplish today with this call.
Right. Okay, first I want to thank you for having me on your show. My name is Siv Priscilla, and I'm 46 years old, and I'm a mom of 3 girls. I've been an entrepreneur since 2012. The first 5 years, I ran a recruitment agency, and then that moved over to, I decided to move in a different direction and work with people one-on-one on a larger scale. So I took a coaching certificate and started coaching. And I really feel like I found my place. But I also like you said, I'm a multi-passionate, and I have so many things that I feel like I'm good at and I enjoy doing. And it's very hard to just niche down or put my energy in a focused area. So yeah, getting some more clarity and not running in every direction would be great.
Well, and we've actually talked about the Enneagram and how that was kind of mind-blowing, because we have so much similarities, but we're both Enneagram 8 wing 7. And so with that, we don't like to feel controlled. So in choosing that niche or niching down, I feel like even with because I don't even know if you know, but I do photography too. So it's kind of like, people said, even with photography, niche down, only do weddings or only do babies. And I'm like, I would be bored. Don't put me in a box. But the thing is I think it's the control part, or maybe we're worried we'll get, limited. Now, one thing that I've noticed, and you probably noticed it too, is one of our strengths is ideas. And so if we think about that, then that definitely falls really well into coaching, because you are giving your essentially service is ideas. And so you're not having to necessarily act on them. I know that you mentioned that you're really working towards trying to find a plan to stop procrastination. And so I really want to dig into with that, because what do you find that you're procrastinating right now?
I think it's starting the podcast. I've been planning on starting a podcast for 3 years. I even bought most of the equipment 3 years ago, and it's been sitting there, and I've been doing some research, but I can't get myself to just do it. So I think probably that's the biggest part that I'm procrastinating on.
Well, and
that and doing the invoicing and the tasks that I find really not necessarily boring, but it's
they're not fun.
They're not fun, and then I don't feel like they're producing anything interesting, and that's kind of ironic, because it's what I need the money in to be able to do it.
Well, and you have to invoice to get the invoice paid.
Yeah.
And so what I have found is that if we take the things that we love to do, like we like people, like the interactions with people, the connections, like even after this call, like we'll feel more fueled up because we had, talked with people and we got to deliver our ideals, which give us in like that flow state.
Yeah.
So that back office stuff, if you want to think of like abundance or where you are like in a year, and what that person does, that person probably has maybe even hired a VA, like just for some of those simple tasks. Like maybe you will want to eventually think about, well, I want to make the podcast, but maybe I'll have someone else edit it or make the little promos that go, which I know that we talked about Stephanie Gass's podcast course,
Mhm.
which I'll link that in the show notes too for everyone, because that took my procrastinating personality and I actually got mine up in a month. And so I don't know about you. Do you work well with deadlines?
I do when it gets close to deadlines.
Yes. So what you have to do is you can't give yourself too much time. So
No.
that's exactly what I do too. And so I'll almost wait. It's like, I think it is a stubbornness or something to where you're like, they can't control me. So then I do it at the end, but I always get it done. And the bad part is, I mean, it's not bad, but we still probably do it well. So it's not giving us the negative that could come from procrastinating. So it's more so just we get stressed in that moment. I do have a couple tips for you, which I think chances are you're probably doing some of them. Um, and don't worry about trying to write notes or anything, because I'll email you back some. And then obviously this will be a podcast episode, so you can listen there too.
Oh yeah.
But one thing that I found is having a results list. So I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but a lot of the time we're trying to do too many things. So we have all these ideas. And I will even say, if I go to the store and I know I want to do a project, I'm almost thinking about multiple projects and trying to get like multiple things, like not just focusing on the one project. And so if you had just 3 things to do and you knew exactly those 3 things to do, and then after that, you got to stop, maybe even set a timer, but went and did something that you wanted to do, or that like you were done with the work part of the day almost. Like, what are 3 things that you would do for your business? And then after those 3 things, you move on. Because we get in this like flow state as 8s, wing 7s, like to where like we don't want to stop. Like, we're like creating and we're like in the flow. I get lost. Even Stephanie Gass has actually called me out because I'll like be helping people in the groups and like super immersed because that's what fuels me up. But it's also like, what am I sacrificing when I'm in there, So I almost have to make myself stop and move on to the next thing. So time blocking is going to be helpful for that. And then that results list, which there is one I know that you are in, which I will mention, our Enjoy Your Life More Challenge. It's going to start next week. If you're hearing this message and it's after May 4th to 9th, definitely still check it out, because we are going to leave that group open. But in there we are going to be talking about the results list, because I think that we're putting too many things on our plate and it's making us feel overwhelmed. It's making us feel like failures, when really if we could get just 3 most important things, then we'll have a sense of accomplishment. We'll feel more centered, which in the end, I mean, that's really what we want. I mean, you're setting out to do your own awesome business and have all these things and be able to get your goals met. But for some reason, we think that we have to have this like busyness all the time. And I feel like this kind of can prioritize, I guess. So do you find that that's true, that you pile it
Yeah.
all on?
Yeah, I actually found an app. I don't remember what, because of course I'm not using it right now, but it was like a list of 3, and it was your top 3 things to accomplish for the day.
We should add that in that group. Maybe that will be helpful for some people. I know some people like the pen to paper. Some people like to have the app.
Yeah, I figured out that I actually like it more when I can tick it off on a piece of paper. So I'm using like just a regular to-do list now. But yeah, I agree. If I could accomplish the 3 most important things every day, then that would take me far. But the thing is, I procrastinate on the things that I should do, and I do the fun stuff instead.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, and that brings me to my next one. So so you have a results list, which is going to help you to have reasonable expectations for yourself. You're going to give yourself a couple deadlines. And for the podcast, that's going to be your launch date. And so you're not probably going to, that you're going to feel like that's a controlling thing, like putting it out there. But if you put it out and you say it to people, another thing with the personality typing is there is a 4 tendency quiz that we'll be going through next week. So if you haven't checked that one out, I don't know, did you check it out yet?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. No wonder we're twins. So a rebel, they actually do well when they are using the strategy of identity. So you putting it out there and saying, I'm a podcaster now, like that will make it to where you just do it. You know what I mean? So, and then definitely speaking it out, because we don't want to fail, and we don't want people to see us as less than or anything like that. So we always rise up to what we put out there. So, okay. So then after that, I would say take breaks. So maybe on the results list or the time blocking, I don't like to set times for things because that feels restrictive as an 8. So what I'll do is I will kind of do a habit stack. So something that you've already doing in your habits, like you could layer it kind of like almost like a fun and then a not fun and then a fun. Do you know what I mean? And by fun, I mean, you're still doing work, but you're putting out content. And then maybe you are like doing maybe one of the modules for Stephanie's podcast course, and then moving on. But, and then I know that, and you mentioned in your notes that you had sent to me that you actually also did network marketing, and you kind of got the entrepreneur bug kind of through that, which is also the same for me.
Really?
Yeah. So, I actually went to the top 1% of my company and same sort of thing. And I was driven by incentives. So incentives are not bad for us. We like them. So if you could think of an incentive that would help you to kind of have that motivation whenever it makes you decide to do it, then that would be helpful too. And then there was an app that I did want to mention. I haven't explored it that much yet, but because I do a lot on my phone, and I find that this, or at least what I've seen people use, it does well on desktop, but with the toddler and all that, I do a lot of multitasking on my phone. So, but it's called MindMeister, and it kind of breaks it down into an outline to where you can have it you can feel that you're getting things accomplished that maybe you're even overlooking, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's a helpful app too. And then just setting out those small achievable goals in a time block will help, and then a timer. So I think that's a really big one, because that timer will make it to where, okay, I need to stop. And I don't know if this is true for you, because there are some differences that are going to happen when you're looking at the personality typing, but physical activity actually fuels me up too. So physical activity, and you know what else depletes me? Lack of action. So that combination. So maybe take a break, go for a walk, or go do something, like a hike or something physical out in nature, like away from technology. And that might help. You might find that then you are refilled up to go do the thing or create. You are a night owl, so that's helpful information too. Would you do your creating at night then? Is your best time at night, or do you find that's just when you can't turn off your brain?
That depends. It depends on right now during the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Having people around me all day or every moment, it drains me, so that I wouldn't use the time after they go to bed to do creative work. Then I would just need to wind down. But normally, when they are in school during the day and I get to do my routine, then I would be more creative, like after 11 in the evening. And then I could write, I could create. I think my best time is either at that time or after lunch.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe in the beginning of part of your day, you can feel like you pour into them and you do things like that you need to do for like not related to your business. That way you can still feel like you gave to that, like the individual time to your kids, the like throwing in the load of laundry, all that things we still, but that are on our plate, and kind of or maybe even Because aren't your kids older, or how old are they?
Yeah, they're 11, 13, and 18 this month.
Okay. So
So
like that could be where you get your workout in maybe, or you get time outside in green space. There's something about putting my shoes on, even if I'm not really like going anywhere,
I
that kind of
know.
mentally makes me like be way more productive.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, they're like, get your shower, get all dressed, and put on your face, and I do think that there is merit in that to feel better. But for me, it just has to be my shoes. Like I don't even have to. I mean, maybe wash my face and put my shoes on, brush my teeth, and I'm good. Because I have this thing where I try to earn my shower.
Yeah.
So like I want to like go at least for like a power walk or something, just so that I can feel like I earned the shower. But that's what my friend Heather always says too. Um, so I know you have talked about a little bit about your life experiences, and then you have a ton of passions too. I saw where we just listened to your video. You're a singer. Thea actually ran over. It was so cute. She heard you singing and she ran over and tried to steal my phone.
Oh, she should hear me do Let It Go from Frozen.
Oh, I need to go and get that one next. Yeah, we were listening
I don't think
to
it's on there, but yeah.
oh, it's not. See, so this is a really good opportunity, I feel like, because you could actually kind of have your singing even in your intro or music that you do. That I feel like that will be a great outlet even for that passion. So,
Yeah. I definitely do feel like that has to be a part of where I'm going, because a lot of the way I convey a message is one of the ways is through song.
yeah.
So it just gives that added layer, and it sets me kind of apart from many who can't sing, who can do other things, but
Yeah.
it gives me a differentiality or something.
Well, and it's soothing to people, like especially if they're trying to I know that you had mentioned in your notes overcome fear or overcome trauma and like rebuild. There's kind of, I don't know, peacefulness in that, and like maybe even a mindfulness practice could end up being like part of a freebie that you do later or something that would be nice.
Yeah, that I've thought about that.
I think podcasting is almost like the center of all of these, because you could coach on the podcast, you could have live coaching, you you could obviously sing. um I feel like you had mentioned doing retreats and things like that, but you can almost even find out what your person, your avatar, kind of needs through the podcast, because they
Yeah.
will be telling you.
Yeah.
um Now I know that we had a lot to talk about, but is there anything else that you feel like you need zoned in on or more clarity on? Do you know what your podcast is going to be about?
Well, that's the thing. That's probably one of the things that has had me procrastinate, because I haven't had. I can like it's I can help so many people,
Yeah.
and who am I going to help? Who am I going to focus on? So I'm not quite there yet. I'm hoping through Stephanie Gass's podcast university that I will narrow it down. But what I feel now is that it's for those people who are really wanting to do something more with their life, who have come to a place in their life they're done with self-doubt. They've realized that if they're going to do something, this is it. This is the one life they have, and they have to seize that opportunity and do something about it and kick fear to the curb. So I think it's somewhere around that. And I really want to build up people to become leaders in their own lives, so that they can, because we need more trustworthy people who lead, who are willing to go and stand up for what they believe in, and who are healthy leaders in society. So we need that both in the workplace and in life in general.
So I'm hearing leaders that, environment where there's no more fear and there's trust, almost like a good role model.
Yeah.
And then I feel like when it comes to when we hyper focus on things and then we let like maybe our health go, or we feel like we're not doing the other parts of our house and our house, our relationships and all that, the
Yeah.
habits, then
Yeah.
we feel maybe we have some imposter syndrome creep in, or self-doubt, or we just feel like we're scatterbrained. And
Yes.
so I think that that's why these tips for stop procrastinating will help us. So if we time clock, make ourselves set timers and move on and still feel successful, in limiting that, then I think that will be helpful for us. And
Yeah.
then it sounds to me, which in the course will definitely help you with that. She goes step by step. It helps you develop your avatar, who you want to help. And a lot of that this week in the Enjoy Your Life More challenge will help you too, because if you know who you are, then you'll kind of know like who you want to help, because chances are who you want to help is the
It's me.
you
Yeah.
that is the you that's just a couple steps back. And I actually found that I also have found that it's kind of a mix between me. It's kind of a mix between like my mom, and that, like how we had talked where she was soul tired. And I feel like doing a business and tapping
Yeah.
into her talents and getting happier would have made her feel so much better. And so helping that person. So, and you know what, that part, you know that it's right because there's like emotion tied to it. So if you can find the person that you want to help and tie emotion to it and think about her pain and have solutions, you know, the person that is, you know, in your life in the past, even that where you can think of where they needed someone to trust and they needed to not have fear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we have a benefit as being eights, wing seven, to where we're triers. Like we have fear, but we almost have this need to protect people and to, like, I guess, just get it out there that we try. so
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
almost, so that is an asset that you can give to so many people to like overcome the fear. But it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you just need to kind of look at, is this person that's in this post-stress growth, which is the same as my person too, I feel, you know, they're wanting to be better and they're wanting to kind of rise up from their trauma and use it,
Yeah.
like instead of, you know, some people have shame about the things they went through, and then that way they can use that to make it mean something, I guess, and honor what you went through by making an impact, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I made a decision because I've, like I told you, I've had a lot of experiences, from a bad boyfriend, from my parents' divorce, uh, stuff that happened at my workplaces, and things like that. So I've had many experiences, but I decided that I wouldn't let those define me in a negative way. They were going to define me in a positive way. I was going to use those uh, to not only build myself up and see what I came through, and build resilience, but also it gave me empathy and a greater understanding for other people, and how and what they were going through. So I'm not afraid of failing or going through difficult things, because I know now that I'll rise again. So that's fine. But I think for me, I had a defining moment about 10 years ago, when I just felt like every day was a Friday or a Monday. It was like Groundhog Day every day.
mm-hmm.
And I knew that, is this it? And I was like, I was barely, I'm probably around 30 years old. So it's 15 years ago. I just got the sense that, okay, there has to be more. This cannot be it. And that took me on this journey. And I never thought that I would run my own business, because I wasn't the type. I wasn't willing to take risks. I needed security at that time. And so I wouldn't have thought that I would be where I am today. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So in thinking of that person, what do you think that they would Google search? Like, what is
Uh,
that person who's feeling stuck, feeling not very happy, feeling like, oh my gosh, I have no purpose? Like, what are they searching, you think?
I think it's a confidence issue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's the imposter syndrome. Who am I to do something bigger than this? Who am I to think that there's more potential in me? And they would also be searching for how to find clarity on okay, so if this isn't it, what is it? What is it going to be? What am I going to be? What am I going to do? Am I going to go back to school? If And the thing is, because I tried university, but for me it just felt pointless, taking a higher education when I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life.
Well, and what's happened is you actually can gain a lot of knowledge and just, I feel like, street smarts and,
Yeah.
taking in your life experiences, and you seem like you know how to let that count as credibility. Other people might need that, you know, piece of paper, but really you can find that knowledge in other ways too. So when you help your clients with coaching, what exactly are you helping them with?
It is actually getting them past the uh, the moment of being stuck, and getting them to do something and not be so hung up in what it is they're going to do, more to actually getting them to do something. Because I discovered for myself that it was through taking action, and it didn't have to be, I didn't have to know that it was the right action. I just had to do something, because when you start walking with something and doing it, that's when you find the clarity. Okay, is this for me?
Mm-hmm.
No. Is this for me? Yes, this seems like this could be it. But it doesn't happen in your head. So you have to get out of your head. You have to start doing something, trying things, and not being afraid to fail. Just looking at it as learning experience. So when I started looking at failure as a friend, what can that teach me? And going into that with curiosity. If I do this, what's going to happen? And then, ooh, bang. Okay, that was wrong. Okay, why was that wrong? What didn't I like about that? What was it about that that felt wrong to me? And then I could learn from that, and I understood more. Okay, then I'm gonna try this instead. And then you just keep walking. It's like being in muddy waters. I felt like when I started this journey 3 years ago, when I quit my company, the recruitment company, I felt like I was standing in mud, and when you just stand there and nothing happens, nothing will happen, and you won't get any clarity. But when you start walking in the muddy waters, going out, it gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And
I feel like this could be a song. Okay, like I feel like we just wrote your next song.
yeah, it could be a country song.
No, I think
Yeah.
that's great. It sounds like almost like you are a belief or clarity coach for women who are coming. I mean, I don't know about women, but I hear that that are coming out of trauma or looking for more. And so,
Mhm. I think it's an identity thing, because you
mm-hmm.
come to a point in life where you're starting to wonder, who am I really? And that happens at a certain time in your life. It just naturally, because you get time to think about it, and then you know that, okay, this much of my life has passed. I have to be intentional with the rest.
There's that question like of or statement, I guess, where it's like, well, we better start living like, all these things that you push back and stuff. And so I definitely can agree with you that I feel like it fuels me up too, to where when I see people like take a chance. And so in that, like, maybe it is that you want to help people who are starting their businesses. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
excitement, and that like that person needs a lot of belief. Like I think back to my aunt. Whenever I started photography, I didn't go to school for that. It took someone that like, she was like, well, my cousin, her daughter, needed a photographer and for her wedding, and she offered to pay for whatever camera I wanted, half of it. And it was like that belief that like, well, you want me to like, this wasn't just photograph a birthday party, this was a wedding. And so it kind of took that like it was blind belief too, because she didn't really know. I almost feel like they were surprised when they were good, but that like blind belief or faith that like, you got this, I believe in you, that cheerleader type person. So I definitely can see that in you, and I know that you're going to do amazing things with this. And so hopefully these tips can help you to kind of just further that, so that you don't get stuck and really get burnt out. because I do think that we are susceptible to that because we get in such a flow state that we get like hyper focused.
Yes.
But I do love that it's starting to, like, I love the word multi-passionate because my husband before this would call me like ADD entrepreneur or something. Such a better word, you know, like more positive. So, and it really is looking at it as strengths. And so,
and it shows our capacity as well. And that we actually are with the idea thing. It's not just that the ideas are flowing from us, but we are embodying all of these ideas, and we can put them to life. So, but it's for me, it's just trying to narrow down and focus where to start, not because like you said, I don't like to be confined in a box. I don't like to feel like okay, you have to do this and then you can't do anything else. That would to me feel like a prison. But I can be fine with knowing, okay, you can do all of that in time, but right now you need to focus your energy so that you don't get depleted on one or two.
I feel like the overarching thing with you that I'm hearing is your tool or your business is your voice. And so in that is your podcast, in that is singing, in that is speaking at your retreats. You know what I mean? Bringing people together, whether it be reaching the world through a podcast or with music or in a retreat where you can zone in on that. Which in these times of quarantine, obviously you can't really do a retreat right now, but you could do challenges like how we're doing one this week, bring people together in community there. You could also do, I've seen where people do meetups, which is like on a Zoom call. You can even charge for those. Some people, I mean, usually they do them free to build up the community. And then sometimes they'll have, if they have some special speaker come on. I know that I've had people on the podcast that do workshops, like vision workshops, where they do vision casting and do vision boards and that sort of thing. So I definitely could see that being layers to the retreats. And then me coming there to have a retreat with you. Hey, I told you, my DNA test said I'm 7% Norwegian. So somewhere along the line, we were meant to be there. But,
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm super excited for you, and I can't wait to see where your podcast goes. And I think that is your next step, and that these stop procrastinating tips will just help you get closer. So the next step, honestly, would be to set your launch date, because that'll help you with the deadlines. You can do it as soon as 2 weeks, but I did it in about a month, and we are very similar. So I'd say pick your date, announce it to the world, and then hopefully this week in our Enjoy Your Life More, you can kind of get some more of these tangible tips so that you can get there and have a plan and start to feel like you're not like getting lost in all of the things, all of the ideas, So I'm super excited for you. How can we find you if we want to connect with you on social media or on your blog, or how can we find you?
You can find me through, if you're on LinkedIn, you can find me by typing in Siv Priscilla, which is SIV, and Priscilla is PRISCILLA. And you can also find me on my blog. It's called I'llTakeASeat.com. And on Facebook, you can find me for the English-speaking people. You can find me on I Am Siv Priscilla.
Awesome. Okay. Well, it was so great to have you on the show. And I just want to remind all of you out there that you are strong, you are capable, and you can do the hard stuff. Wishing you joy and abundance, Angel. Hey mama, if you'd like to have some help figuring out your Enneagram, or maybe where your Enneagram number goes in stress or when you're happy, healthy, and secure, head on over to Instagram at angel.mcelhaney and shoot me a DM and I can help you figure it out. Or you can check out my free Enneagram Energy Guide located in the show notes. Oh, and one more thing. If you found value in today's show, I would love for you to hop on over to iTunes and leave me a review. It really is great hearing what you're taking away from the show. And also, I would love to invite you to our free Enjoy Your Life More challenge over on Facebook. It really is a great community filled with so much positivity and light, and I can't wait to meet you over there.